It's funny how people make each other feel bad for playing a role and not being authentic while leaving each other no other choice. Some people just want to be offended. Some people want to be heard and they love it. Why do they love it? So the thing is, negative emotions are very addictive because if you spend a lot of time experiencing those, it becomes your survival mechanism to make it your identity. And you get used to it so much that you start to identify with it. Of course, on a very subconscious level. Again, I'm sorry to say you, some individuals, okay? I'm gonna use you sometimes just because it's easier to speak this way or it's faster. But yeah, it is very addictive. And later, the society makes them believe that they should heal or tries to fix their problem of being a victim or always having a problem or being offended and stuff like that, basically. And it starts to help them. And those people start feeling needed and heard and seen and finally, shine. And that's even better. So not only do they get, they basically have their entire identity tied to being hurt and stuff like that and misunderstood because they got addicted at some point, but also they have attention of other people who constantly try to save them. Now, whenever you try to actually save them, basically you are threatening their life. You know why? Because their life, their identity, which is basically their survival, depends on being a victim or having problem or, just maybe continuing the way they were. And taking the burden on you to drag them out of this state, it might feel rewarding in the sense of worth if you don't actually believe that you have worth by yourself, and then you constantly need to prove that you do, even to yourself, but especially to others, then it feels rewarding because finally you're worth something. But of course you hear that it's a bit unhealthy, but it can help some people for some time. However, it is also very exhausting and it basically sucks the energy out of people. It might also be rooted in the feeling of or just be needed, basically. It's not the fear, it's just need, which also can come from something, I don't know, some trauma and things like that. What I'm saying is not that if you wanted to help somebody you are traumatized. Really, no. But if you find yourself in the loops of constantly trying to help people when on the subconscious or even sometimes on the conscious level it's obvious that they can't be helped, but you still kind of seem to be drawn to them for some reason, that might be the issue. There also can be other reasons for that, like you truly love this person. But love doesn't mean you need to drag people out of what they choose to be dealing with. Sometimes love can mean even though you love them, you let them deal with what they choose to deal with. So if you want to help, that's one thing. Invest a certain amount of time, energy, things like that. If you see it helped, perfect. But if you see that the more you pour in, the more they need, and it creates dependency loop, then it's time. It might be a time for you to remove yourself from that situation. And it's up to you to decide when this kind of toxic cycle begins, and if you see one, when to leave. But it gets better over time, and the more you value and appreciate yourself and understand that it's okay if you are your own priority, because that's like your life, and basically the better you feel in your life, the better your life is, because it's not about what happens outside of you. In the end, it's all about how you feel about it. Yeah, then it's gonna get better and better, just easier and easier. So yeah, I'd recommend seeing how you feel, but also remember about the fact that a lot of people get addicted to be offended. Something you say and people suddenly got offended. Like, you can't offend somebody who doesn't believe he has to be offended there, or this is about him. You've probably heard this already. Like, I don't know, I've heard this example, like somebody said, if they say you are, I don't know, a red mushroom, you know you're not the red mushroom, so you won't be offended by it, let's say. Also, it comes to emotions, because if you feel like being offended, even if somebody calls you a red mushroom, you'll be like, oh, no, how could you say that to me? I don't know. And there are these entire movements, like, I don't know, feminism, politics, right, left, stuff, whatever, basically people who are addicted to arguing with one another and just being like a part of some type of war. Some people go to army because they like to, well, actually, there might be different reasons, but I mean, some people go to army because they want to fight somebody else, or they want to be, I don't know, politically involved into something, or they want to be generally like involved into some points of views in order to be the opposite to everybody else, in order to be not just like pick me, but also like, they want to fight. Some people want to be feeling like there's something wrong, like somebody wronged them. I don't say feminism in general, definitely not, but there are extremes in everywhere, and feminism is just like one of all of the waves that can definitely go to an extreme, and people can, like, women can say, oh, you said that because I'm a woman, right? And like on every step, basically, that's what I'm talking about. It's something to, probably they want to, like, feel like they've been wronged somehow, and that's okay, just let them. But you don't need to be a part of that. You really don't, unless you're triggered by it and you want to somehow do something about the situation. If somebody says something and it somehow triggers you, whether you are mad, or you feel like you need to help them, or you feel like you need to somehow solve this issue, or you need anything, basically, the trigger is something for you to go into and dissolve when it comes to the feeling, because you will see, once you dissolve a lot of feelings, a lot of these like issues and things that trigger you, you'll basically become untouchable, like just constantly just feeling fine. And I mean, I don't know about Zen, because it's probably like absolute, but definitely the more you do it, the better, because the chiller you are. So what I've been talking about is just the general tendencies, and you don't necessarily need to be a part of it, but you might recognize something there. And it's cool to just see whatever's going on for what it is, because it gives you awareness, and it also gives you the understanding of why is it you don't have to engage, which a lot of people definitely criticize and say that you need to engage into everything and defend everyone and help everyone, and otherwise you're like a selfish prick or bitch or whatever, sorry. But no, you're not, like, not necessarily, not if you don't really want to struggle and satisfied, and like maybe you just want to be chill doing whatever it is you want to do in your life and become like happy. And I think if we prioritized it enough, we wouldn't be wasting a lot of time. Because the thing is, when we stop engaging and doing stuff we don't actually want to do, and we do the stuff that we want to do and be in states we want to be in, life and time seems to go slower, really. Even though you like it, but it goes slower because you finally are really present. You're finally really living. It's not like you're on the autopilot all the time and just wait for the day to go by as soon as possible for you to go back on your couch and watch a show to feel a little bit of relief and forget about everything. It's like you're actually able to live. And I think everyone will benefit from it eventually, so why not? And about how exactly to dissolve it, about how to breathe into the feelings and let them disappear. I've been talking in my last videos, but briefly, let's say just breathe into it, feel whatever it is you feel. Where is it in your body? Where is that point in your body where you actually feel it? Concentrate there, breathe into it, and like fully deep breaths. Again, doesn't need to be any technique. Actually, it's better if it's not any technique, just like normal, like human breathing, deep breathing. You can breathe in with your nose, breathe out with your mouth, and concentrate on the feeling. Try to go into it, and don't be afraid of anxiety, panic, attack, and stuff like that, because it's just people weren't dealing with the feelings for long enough, and then they were just too scared to do so, and then the feelings started to attack them because, come on, like they haven't been dealing with them for such a long time at all, like running away from them completely and being affected by them, that people got even more scared and eventually started calling it an anxiety attack, panic attack. God, I used to have those. I used to have anxiety attacks constantly. That was just like my way of living. And well, at some point I thought it was okay. It was like, human living. So it's not okay, just in case you're dealing with anything like that. And the more you go into those emotions without fear, I mean, you're gonna have fear, especially at the beginning, but that's like, okay, you just still go into it and feel the fear, by the way. If you feel it, it also will dissolve. And so you feel, you go into whatever it is you're feeling, you're breathing into it, and you take as long as it takes you for it to completely dissolve, completely. And it can take hours, it can take days, sometimes, very rarely. But like there are also layers, so they can come up. For example, you've completely dissolved one, and then another one comes up, and then you go into it and you also dissolve it. And then you see what's the belief behind it. Like, okay, do I believe I won't be loved? Do I believe... Like, you also need to be kind of consciously asking right questions, asking yourself right questions. Okay, if that's like connecting the dots, basically. If you're able to connect the dots in general, you will see where it's coming from. And then just after you've dissolved the feelings, because before you dissolve the feelings, nothing, like you can't reason with yourself before you dissolve the reasons, because it's like reasoning with a bull that's running on you, and you're like, yo, dude, chill down. Why? Like, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help because he's like, well, of course it's his nature, but also he's like really crazily angry or whatever it is, so that's what I mean. You dissolve those emotions first, whether it's fear, sadness, or anger. There are three, and they go later into all the others: shame, guilt, whatever else, but those are like the core ones, and other ones are either one of them or just like combination. And and then just dissolve it and see what you believe, and then see, okay, maybe it's not like universal truth for everybody on this planet. Maybe it's not really true for me either in this case. Maybe like if I can choose what is truth for me, maybe like I don't have to choose this path. And then something often changes subconsciously, and you don't necessarily need to see it, but just like experiment with it. It's definitely fun, but also it makes you react less. And the less you react, the less of a slave you are. And it's definitely cool to have your life in your hands, basically. Meaning, actually decide how you live and to be finally in charge. So, yeah. If you've watched till this moment, basically till the end of the video, thank you very much. Please let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, just really happy to have you here. Thank you, and hopefully see you in other videos.